Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So dear Dharma friends, when it comes to this Buddha's teaching, and the most important part of the Buddha's teaching is having this vipassana knowledge. So having the vipassana wisdom. So that vipassana wisdom is always deconstruct this conventional life. So when it comes to that, it's kind of like a demolishing that what you really like or what you really exist, what you really hold. It's sometimes painful. If you just have an idea without developing your mind to naturally happen, it's kind of like a letting go. That as example, that intellectually letting go, you cannot get it. And sometimes it makes you terrified, fearful. So, but you have to develop the quality in your mind, capacity in your mind to see the truth. So otherwise the lie or otherwise the untruth, we may going to hold and we going to settle down our life with that, believing it as truth. So meditation is a kind of like a purifying, cleaning your mind and brush up your mind like an ironsmith. When you clean it, it start to shine. Clean it, it start to shine. So yourself, when you develop this meditation little by little, when you tranquilize, calm down, your ability to see going to be very clear. Your vision becomes so sharp and clear. How that sharpness happening? Because your own defilement or your own sanskara, mental formations, your own thoughts not going to disturb when you experience something with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So if you're able to come to point to experience like that way, your perception in that very moment, that what you see going to show you what is true. Because by thinking you cannot get the truth. But that's why by seeing, even in conventional what we use experience, sometimes doesn't work. Because what we try to experience sometimes, what in your head, if you try to experience, that experience itself may not going to become real. So that's why the very important thing, let your perception to happen and try to experience your perception without interfering the history, without interfering the previous thoughts. It's like when you cook, when you eat. So when you eat a meal, sometimes you eat it very fresh. You don't add that whatever yesterday left over. So the same thing with that. When you experience something with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, you add your leftover from yesterday, day before yesterday, from the history. So when that pattern becomes stronger, rather than experiencing the moment, you mastering adding the past to your present moment. So people, they are so good people. Right away, they can go back to 10 years back and bring all the garbage and put it to the present moment. They can do very well that. Why? Because rather than experiencing the moment, what they master thinking about all the past and whatever bad happened in the past, and boom, bring it back and put it to the moment. They become more so advanced for that. You know what is happening then later, and it has power to go back to the previous life, beyond your birth also, and then previous lives matters also bring to the moments unknowingly. But what we try to do, rather than bringing the past memory and putting to the moment, we slow down that pattern and we mastering whatever with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, whatever happened in this moment, you experience that. So in conventionally, there are certain things, how our memory hold it to us. In the vipassana level, it is kind of like a garbage. It is the real killer of this wisdom, and that is the real enemy and the mara for the samsara. So it is conventionally it is okay, because that the conventionally whatever good for the samsara. So then you have to understand you cannot disturb it. But if you look for the nibbana, then you cannot go with the conventional. Then you have to get out of it. So without seeing the danger, how you're not going to get out of it? So then that whatever, can you criticize in a spiritual way, in a practice point of view? Can you criticize your happiness, the conventional happiness? That's criticizing means not you thinking it kind of like a bad way. As I mentioned, that the inherent nature, even though it come as a comfort, maybe that is the trap going to hold you to the greater suffering. So like that, there is something, word. In conventional life, you get award for that word, and people talk about it. That is one of the best. What is that word? Fulfillment. So when it comes to fulfillment, you get a lot of credit out of that word. That we looking for fulfillment. So in conventionally, of course, that is good. But in the vipassana, that is the killer. That is kind of like a mara. When you really look for salvation, when you look for liberation, you have to kick out the fulfillment. Why? So you have to think slowly, and you have to look what you want. So if you want the fulfillment in conventional level, that the kind of like look for the emotional satisfaction, it is okay. But that doesn't mean you're going to end this all, because it always that somehow something going to bounce back. So when it comes to fulfillment, remember that is a sensation. That's a thought. The fulfillment is a sensation come out of gratification. That is fulfillment. Look, think yourself, because if you don't question your own success or your own happiness, you will never get out of it. So the fulfillment we worship, in this modern world, the entire society go to the fulfillment. That means they go to the samsara. So when it comes to vipassana, if you really look for the wisdom, if you really look for the truth, you should hear this. Otherwise, it is okay. Go and watch something, cricket or soccer or basketball. It is good for you. Whatever, because whatever you look for. But if you look for real liberation or the transformation or the freedom or the nibbana, there is no way you have to kick out your fulfillment. Why? Because it is a sensation come out of gratification. So the hiding the deeper the gratification hold, that's why you have the fulfillment. Then there should be something. That is fear. So wherever the gratification, there is fear. When there is fear, there is always unclarity. You don't see the truth. If there is fear, that is not truth. That's why enlightened masters, they don't get afraid. They don't have even this physical fear, even for little sound, they don't get that. Why? The clear perception. When it happens right away, they know what it is. But why you afraid even at night from bedroom to go to your bathroom without a light? Even sometimes you are afraid for your own shadow. When no one alone, your own house, sometimes you feel afraid, and maybe you put the radio, the TV loud, or maybe, when you walk alone yourself and you singing or, doing something and going, you have deeper that fear. Why? Because not clear. See, the gratification always facilitates the fear. And that's why we look for fulfillment. That fulfillment is a sensation. It's a kind of like a feeling. If it is a feeling, impermanent. How you know? You saw how the sensation impermanent. That's why if you don't see it, this kind of like an intellectual blah blah blah, it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't get. That's why you have to have self-experience. So when you have experience, then you can apply it to. So if you don't have the car, you cannot go to the gas station and ask for the gasoline. At least you have to have something. It is there, but the thing is, it cannot pour to your head. You have to have some applicable something to get it in a correct way, to use it. Even the gasoline there, you put it to the car and you accelerate the car, but at the same time, how about if you put the brake? Do you think it will going to work? What will happen? In the same place, big noise, it doesn't move because the brake is stronger than the accelerator. Brake is always stronger than the accelerator. There is no accelerator deny the brake. Have you thought about it? Like that, there is no fulfillment can deny gratification. The gratification is the stronger part. It's same like the brake, the holding part. So then remember yourself. The fulfillment arises as a result of gratification, because the way the gratification, grasping, holding nature, there's fear. To get out of it, in the middle, that you have this word gratification. Once you, with the fulfillment, once you have the fulfillment, you feel more good, comfortable, and you like to be with it. You think it is, oh, it's a good friend. You allow that facilities to be there. And then the fulfillment. So now you have the gratification, you have the fear, you have the gratification, and then you look for the fulfillment. And in between this, the action comes. Bodily, verbally, and mentally action. Because you have the gratification to achieve the fulfillment. Now you have the fear pushing you, and then you have to have actions. Physical action, mental action, verbal action. If you are in action, you are unrest. It doesn't matter whatever action, even the mental action. If you are in a mental action, you are unrest. That's why in tranquility state, we tell us always that you come to a point, no action. And we are full of action. Because of that, we cannot sometimes get what it is. And some people, even by hearing, they get depressed. So in tranquility state, you come to a point, you completely get out of actions, mental actions. In that moment, you're able to see. Seeing is not a kind of like an action, you do it yourself. It is just happening. In that very moment, you are stronger, powerful, clear than you think. And you are more happier than you think. That happiness is the real fulfillment. When we come to the word meanings, the real fulfillment you gain through in this process. Not physically, materially, sensually, that we achieve to something. So then remember, it's the fulfillment is not kind of like a sensation. If it is a sensation, it is a worldly fulfillment. Nothing wrong with it. We need that also. Why? Because idanandati pechanand, conventionally you have to be, but at the same time, only thing you have it, question it. Question. Ask yourself, ask. Don't afraid to question. That is one of the beautiful things that push you forward. Question. That's why most people don't like when they question, even husband, wife, children, friends, families, especially these gurus, monks. They don't like if you question. Why? Because questions always take you to the truth. How we know? And look at the Buddha's life. The very first 4 signs. He had a very luxurious life. I just giving a very simple example. He had a very luxurious life. When the very first time when he saw the old person, sick person, dead body, and a monk, what he did? He was the prince. He was the prince. and his friend charioteer. Why the prince asked from him? No, he is a more advanced and he used to be more educated person. But look that what the Prince Siddhartha did. Question. Hey Channa, what is that? So when it come to the ignorance, the one of the the condition that people use, don't question. So then remember yourself. When you are in fulfillment. So these are kind of like, we cannot use it all the time or for everything. You have to be matured spiritually when we practice these things and when we use these things. You have to know where to and how to and when to use these things. So yourself spiritually and not conventionally. So whatever the conventional life you go with it. But when it comes to spiritual path, if you look for liberation, if you look for nibbana, if you look for your salvation, if you look for truth, don't afraid to question. Not about others, because questioning others, you will never get anything. You may go into more illusion. But for yourself, learn to question your own inner experience. Keep that only for that. Be disciplined with your questions. Question your own discipline. Question your own feelings and question your own fulfillment. And you will see something. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavattantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ettavata ca ammihi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.